Welcome to Radicalize Me. If you like what I do here, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're so inclined, you can become a contributor on Patreon. If you've seen a few of my videos, you might know that I come from the music world, mostly through teaching. Perhaps you're here by way of my very popular video about the state of modern pop music that definitely didn't cause any controversy at all. Anyway, today we're going to talk about anti-fascist music. In particular, 5 bands I've been listening to lately that I'd like to review and recommend. Now, I'd like to avoid any punker-than-thou arguments. I'm not claiming to have discovered any of these bands, and some of them are more well-known than others. But not everyone knows every band, so I wanted to point them out. With that out of the way, here are 5 anti-fascist bands you should be listening to. Total Massacre. Recommended songs: Anti-Fascist, Pro-Life Death Cult, and Shock Doctrine. Recommended albums: Total Massacre and The System Works. I came across Total Massacre very recently, and I was blown away. I really enjoy in-your-face, blunt political messaging in music, and this band delivers. I mean, they're called Total Massacre. You immediately know you're going to get your ass kicked. Now, I've gotten into punk lately, but this is the first hardcore band with a capital H that has really grabbed me. I usually go for more pop punk or old school stuff, but Total Massacre stands out not only for their brashness, but their engaging riffs and often unexpected chord progressions, which drags my inner theory nerd along for the ride with my rebel heart. The band formed in 2017 and is based in LA. They have 2 full albums available, but those are fairly recent, and they seem pretty prolific in terms of singles and EPs. I recommend both full albums, but especially The System Works. ZSK. Recommended songs: Anti-Fascista, Make Racists Afraid Again, and Herz für die Sache. Recommended albums: Herz für die Sache and Hallo Hoffnung. I think ZSK is one of the higher profile bands on my list, but they're German and maybe not all my non-German listeners are aware of them. I wasn't. I found their song Anti-Fascista a few months ago, and I love the energy these guys bring to their music and their activism. The music video for this song features footage of the 2012 German protests against austerity, which popped up around the time of Occupy Wall Street in the US. This was a pivotal moment for the left across the world, and it's beautifully captured in both the song and the video. Even if you don't speak German, you will sense the importance of the narrative from the list of cities and the passionate performance. Then there's Make Racists Afraid Again and Herz für die Sache, or Heart for the Cause, which is easier to say, which are just great pop punk songs that will also pump you up to do activist shit. And that's the role of protest music, in my opinion. It's not the revolution itself, but it can inspire revolutionary activity. Their latest album, Hallo Hoffnung, or Hello Hope, came out in 2018, and they're currently on a tour of their home country. So they're going strong 25 years into their career. The Chernobyl Babies. Recommended songs: They Lost, We Oi, Class of '04, I'm not here to fight a war, not here to blame the government for problems anymore. I just want to get in the pit, blow around, not giving a shit. They say it's wasted living, but it's what I'm living for. And Pogo Fun for Everyone. We pogo in the streets, we don't fucking go with it, all we do is drink. Recommended albums: Punk's Rules EP, They Lost We Oi, and 14 Inches of Fuck All. The Chernobyl Babies are probably the most freewheeling band on this list. They have a very anarcho-punk aesthetic, but most of their songs are about drinking and partying, which is cool too. They sing most of their vocals in a raspy, guttural scream as they pound out simple but catchy power chord riffs, all of which should be expected from a down and dirty street punk band. The Chernobyl Babies started in 2004 and claimed to drink some beers and get distracted from their career from time to time. Their albums include a cassette tape they put out in 2004, They Lost We Oi in 2008, and Punk's Rules in 2009. There's also their compilation album, 14 Inches of Fuck All, which is a combination of their two full albums. So they're not the most active band, but I respect that. In a rapid-paced world of content creation, it's subversive as fuck to take a 3-year break and then a 12-year break from putting out an album. Leftover Crack. Recommended songs, Nazi White Trash, Super Tuesday, and Burn Them Prisons. Recommended albums, Fuck World Trade, and Mediocre Generica. Leftover Crack is a band from New York with a really classic punk sound. They formed in 1998 and they're still around, but their lo-fi sound reminds me of stuff like the old Dead Kennedys albums, which is pretty cool. Leftover Crack is one of these bands that really just says the thing and doesn't give a fuck. Metaphors and flowery language are cute and fine, but I think one of the reasons I find punk so refreshing is the bluntness and frankness of the lyrics. When I was a younger songwriter, I was always dressing up my lyrics in layers of metaphor and mystery. And again, that's fine if you're into it. There's a time and a place for it. But punk helped me see that it doesn't always have to be that way. This opened up my own songwriting and gave me a whole world of music to listen to that spoke to me on a new level. Their first 2 albums came out right around 9/11 and the Iraq War, and while most mainstream artists were being fucking cowards, besides the Dixie Chicks, underground punk was carrying the torch of anti-war music. I definitely recommend these 2 albums for when you want to bang your head and maybe, just maybe, further radicalize yourself against United States hegemony and neocolonialism. And again, I must stress that this was at a time when almost no one in mainstream pop culture was willing to speak out against Bush and the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Rock and country artists were either quiet or doing nationalist propaganda. City of ruin. We'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. DriveBy Truckers. Recommended songs, Thoughts and Prayers, Glory, Hallelujah, you are in our thoughts and prayers, 21st Century USA, Folks working hard for shrinking pay, 21st Century USA, and The New OK. You have signed for your twisted ways, it's the new OK. Recommended albums, The Unraveling and The New OK. In addition to punk, lately I've gotten more into country, and DriveBy Truckers are a great example. And this isn't quite like Toby Keith, Brad Paisley modern pop country. It has modern left-leaning attitudes combined with a sound that's closer to old school country. Their song Thoughts and Prayers is a great little story about the United States' neutered response to mass shootings. Then there's 21st Century USA, a sad chronicle of American decay, and The New OK, which is a little more upbeat musically, if not lyrically. They're also a pretty old band, which means they have a whole back catalog I haven't even gotten to yet, but you might want to if you're into this kind of music. Overall, DriveBy Truckers, don't play as aggressively and use less militant language in their music than the other bands on this list. But sometimes that's what you need, right? Think of them as a come down from the hardcore punk and other heavy shit. They might not even be as far left as the other bands, but I think we need to take all the allies we can get. You know, it's a good thing that a band of guys from Alabama is out there playing country music with left-leaning ideas in it. And that's my list, at least for now. I know that music is not the revolution in and of itself, again, any more than any other type of art is, but it can be inspiring. I'm definitely interested in politics because of bands like NoFX and System of a Down, and comedians like Jon Stewart and Lewis Black. I think it's especially important for young people to hear this kind of stuff. I think it's incredibly valuable, especially if you're a kid looking around thinking something's not right, to be able to hear adults speak openly about how things are not okay and how they could be better. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please help us out on Patreon if you can, if you feel that you'd like to be part of the Radicalize Me community. That's all for now. See you next time.